This is From Justin to Kane, a podcast where Mike Robertson and Bob LaRue watch one critically acclaimed film and one terrible film and talk about how they are the same. Okay, welcome everybody to From Justin to Kane. I'm Bob.
I am Mike.
We're here. We're here right now, and so are you, I hope.
Yeah, we're here to pod the hell out of this pod.
Yeah, so put on your dog booties and let's go for a little journey as we talk about two pretty nifty films. What are they, Mike?
Well, just to give the audience context, if this is your first episode of our show, Bob keeps saying these weird dog things because our fans are called Kanines.
They didn't come up with that. We did. Yeah,
we came up with a name for our fans, but they've embraced it.
All two that we've spoken to have really embraced the canine. The literal phrase "I'm a canine" has been said by multiple people.
I was going to say the same.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a new canine, welcome. Put your dog booties on. Let's go for a little walk.
Yeah.
And then some cheesy intro music would start right there. Do 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 do.
But it would be played on one of those keyboards where it has dog sounds like woof 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 woof.
It's just jingle bells with dog woofs.
Yeah.
Woof woof woof. Okay. Anyways, what are the two movies there, Mike?
Do you remember Jingle Cats or Jingle Dogs? Do you remember that? Like that CD you could buy, and then someone had just played Christmas songs with that, and then they had music videos that played on Much Music.
I own the CD.
Do you actually?
Yeah, it's in my parents' basement.
Amazing.
They purchased it for me for some reason. The assumption was that I would love it, and I do.
They were like, Bob, you're an adult now, and here is Jingle Dogs.
I think they got it for me when I was like 15 or 14 or something.
That is still pretty old.
Yeah, you're right. Old enough to drive.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Play this on your CD player in your car.
And my mom's Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah.
Touring.
Rock the hell out.
Yeah. Anyways, so enough about that.
I'm refusing to start this episode. I'm refusing to start.
Even though it's your idea to start.
Yeah. Okay,
whatever.
So the movies we're talking about: The Red Shoes, a 1948 British drama.
Mm-hmm.
About ballet, and Miami Connection, which came out in what year?
1988.
That's right. So
were you quizzing me or what? What was that
no,
all about?
I just never know which, because I research one movie for the podcast, you research the other one, so I never know what year the other one is coming out in.
You know, it's interesting. These films, first similarity, they came out in the same year of their respective decade.
Oh, you mean like the 8th year?
Yeah, the 8th year of their respective decade. How's that for a similarity? Pretty friggin' sweet.
That is pretty damn sweet, yeah.
That's right. Never forget.
Yeah, they're both multiples of something with 2s in them, because 48 and 88.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah.
So
wow, look at that
year. Wow, math.
They're both divisible by 2.
Well, yeah, they're both, the year that they came out is divisible by 2, sure.
Every other year is divisible by 2. Anyways, we're growling. We're just growling for
bark,
you,
bark.
All you canines at home. Yeah. Anyways, Red Shoes. I've seen it once before and watched it last night. Fucking great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's solid.
Yeah, try and get a hold of this movie. It's real good. It's about ballet, which is girly, and we're boys. Yes. But it was a really good film. It's also just the technicolor in the movie is beautiful. Also, it was
vivid.
The restoration is also really fascinating.
Is it? I didn't do any research on that, but watching Mike let me his Criterion Blu-ray of it, and it is so friggin' good.
The Blu-ray actually comes with a little booklet that talks about the restoration process. So worth reading.
Maybe I saw, like in a DVD case where the booklet goes. It looked real thick. I didn't open it up, but maybe I should. It's just over there. So
give it a read, even though we will have already recorded the episode by then. But yeah, pretty fascinating.
I can say that the restoration of Miami Connection is not nearly as interesting.
No.
And you can see that it wasn't done very well.
No.
When you watch the film, there's some pretty clunky chunks just in terms of like the film was too old.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough for sure.
Yeah.
Whereas the Red Shoes looks pristine.
Pristine. Ageless. Timeless?
Timeless? Timeless. So let's talk about the friggin' Red Shoes, which was the original title, believe it or not. The friggin'
Red Shoes. Powell and Pressburger were like, you know what would be a great title for this friggin' movie? The friggin' Red Shoes.
Yeah, except they were British, so they said the bloody Red Shoes.
Right. That's right.
So I guess the title wasn't friggin' Red Shoes, but that was the translation. North American translation, friggin' Red. Anyway, so the Red Shoes came out in 1948. It is British, but was filmed in France, in Paris. Written, directed, produced by a duo team, Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger.
Yes.
And it is the story of a ballerina who joins like a ballet company called the Ballet Lermontov, who's owned and operated by the titular Boris Lermontov. The whole movie is kind of about her. She's in a rock and a hard place because she has to decide whether she wants to dedicate her life to romance or her career as a ballet dancer.
Yes.
Who is like the premier ballet dancer. And so basically her boss and her lover, who both work for the company, are like pulling her apart because her lover moves away and she has to decide whether she wants to like be like, oh, I got to be with him, or if I want to be in this ballet company who's like thinks I'm the greatest. So that's what the movie's about. Also, the film is known for its cinematography, especially the use of technicolor. It looks great. Colors really pop. The Red Shoes are red as hell.
They're super red, like vivid.
So the actor in the film is a actual ballet dancer. She's a real established ballerina. Her name is Moira Shearer.
Boy, that really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Moira Shearer.
Moira Shearer. So
you got to make weird shapes with your mouth to get that out.
Moira Shearer. So she's an established ballet dancer, but the movie also has a bunch of other people who are renowned in the ballet world. Robert Altman, who also choreographed a lot of the movie. Leonid Massine and Ludmila Chorina. I don't know who those people are. I'm not a ballet guy.
You're a cinephile, not a balletophile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, the plot of the movie is based on the titular fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah.
And the movie is fascinating in that it features a 17-minute long sequence right in the middle of the movie where they just do ballet for 17 minutes. Like you see the actual production of the ballet of the Red Shoes. Pretty sweet.
And it's thrilling.
Yeah, and it also kind of is like they filmed the ballet, but then they also kind of took a lot of cinematic liberties with it. So there's some surreal sequences. You're like, how did they change the set that fast? It's because it's a movie and they edited it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people like disappear off the stage somehow, like magically. So it's all the magic of cinema. I like the
cross dissolve when she sees herself in the shoes in a reflection of the glass.
Exactly.
That was super cool.
Yeah, that's movie magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The movie got 5 Academy Award nominations, and it won for Best Original Score and Best Art Direction. So congratulations to the Red Shoes. And it has been voted, it's been on a lot of top film lists of all time. Voted the 9th greatest British film by the BFI, the British Film Institute, in 1999. Really all about the nines that year. 9th greatest film, 1999. Maybe even September 9th, 1999.
Here's hoping.
So they were celebrating the Red Shoes, and then also the Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast came out that day, if I'm not mistaken. Because there was a lot of nines in it, and they really capitalized on that. I remember that. I was excited for it.
The Dreamcast or the Red Shoes being accoladed?
Oh, both. As a teen,
yeah.
definitely
you're a teenager, and you're like, I fucking love the Red Shoes. That's my impression of you as a boy. a young boy of 18 or whatever.
Honestly, I bet Sega would do a good job with a Red Shoes video game.
That'd be really fun, actually.
Yeah. Like, just like that game Jet Set Radio, where you're like you like spray paint the walls, but you're also in rollerblades. I feel like they could kind of take the similar mechanics, but apply it to ballet.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie was originally intended to be a biopic about Vaslav Nijinsky, whoever the hell that is.
Super famous person. That name is extremely familiar, but I don't know. I feel like that was a male ballet dancer, or like owned a famous company in the early 1900s.
Are you for real? Guess. You know this?
Yeah, I think so. I took ballet in high school, and we had to learn all this shit.
Oh, right. Yeah, man. I forgot. You're like a ballet guy.
Yeah, I did ballet for 2 years. I'm a ballet boy.
Yes. So these movies actually kind of really represent us really well, because you're like the ballet guy, so you're like the Red Shoes, and then I'm like a rock band ninja, like in Miami Connection. So
who writes a song called Friends?
Yeah, and the song, the lyrics are just about how we're going to be friends forever. It's just
through
really
thick and thin.
Through thick and thin, it's so good.
So I have a similarity actually right out of the gate.
Sure, go ahead.
Both movies feature red shoes. Okay, hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
Hey, hear me out, Mike. Okay. Gosh, we're just two dogs sniffing the same fire hydrant. Give me a little space, okay?
For piss. For like piss similarities. We're always
Let me take
around.
a leak all over what you just peed on, okay? For a real quick second. Red shoes in the red shoes. Pretty self-explanatory. In Miami Connection, the shoes are red because of how many times people get roundhoused in the face.
Yeah, that's right. Good.
By virtue of the injuries induced by the feet of several characters, there would obviously be some blood on their feet.
Yeah, so just some context. A Miami Connection is about a rock band who kind of moonlights as ninjas at night, and they're always fighting rival gangs.
Yeah, and it's fun because they're like this sort of multicultural band. They're from everywhere.
Yeah.
Ireland, Korea, somewhere in the States. It's great. It's really great.
So good.
Yeah, it's nice.
One of them was from Israel.
Oh, right, Israel. Yeah, because there's 5 of them, right?
Yeah, they're buds. They're the best. They're best buds.
They're best friends, best buds. Yeah.
So they have a song.
Of Taekwondo.
They totally are. So Anyway, this movie was it's supposed to be about that guy that I mentioned, Vaslav. But then they were like, no, and then they just kind of dropped the project. And then in 1946, Powell and Pressburger got a hold of the screenplay. They paid £9,000 for it, and then they changed it up a little bit, made it about the red shoes. And it's kind of a more fictional story about a woman who has to choose between love and ballet.
Kind of the dramatic premise of everyone's life, don't you think?
Kind of,
I had to choose between those two things.
Really, every piece of work is kind of about that in a lot of ways. Or like every story has love and work as like the two things. Sometimes they're put into contest with each other, and sometimes there's just two things that you have to pursue.
Just like how Luke had to choose between saving the universe or having sex with his sister.
Exactly.
And he chose the universe.
Thank you, Luke. Boris Lermontov, the character in the movie, was inspired by Sergei Diaghilev, the guy who founded the Ballets Russes. So do you know what that is?
I think so. Isn't it a famous school in Russia?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, famous ballet school in Russia, yeah.
Yeah.
And company.
Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of based on real stuff, but is fictional. Powell and Pressburger also had to figure out whether they were going to use dancers who could act instead of actors who could dance, because they had some people cast in the movie at first who were actors, and then they were like, well, we got to get like dancer doubles for them anyway. So they just were like, you know what? Let's just get some dancers and hope that they can act. Seemed to work out for them, though.
It's easier to teach somebody to act than it is to teach them to dance. Let's be honest.
Honestly, yes. Because acting is just like everybody experiences things. So just kind of relay your experiences into this fictional story, and there you go. Also, it's all about breathing too. Just make people breathe in a realistic way, and people will be like, oh, that is acting. You just have
Well
to say
said.
your lines in a non-insane way. Miami Connection.
Yeah.
Because some of the dialogue that they say in that movie is like, what? And also clearly dubbed in the most awkward way.
Oh, yeah. Some of them, I love that you could tell that they decided to change the line afterwards and the mouth just doesn't match at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then in other parts, it matches perfectly. And you're like, this is very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever,
And also some English as second language speakers for sure.
Who are the lead characters?
Who are the lead characters and are sometimes you can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Moira Shearer, the ballerina, she was cast in the film, and Robert Helpman, who is also cast in the film, who's another ballet person and was the choreographer of the main ballet sequence. He was the one who helped her get the gig, but she originally didn't want to be in the movie because she's like, I'm a dancer, I'm not an actor, and this movie's going to bomb and it's going to make me look bad. And also she thought that the movie, the screenplay was kind of an unrealistic representation of ballet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she's right.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's a movie. So her mentor, Nanette de Valois, who was at the Ballet Russes and also founded the Royal Ballet. Do you know what these things are?
Well, I'm guessing the Royal Ballet is just the British version of the Russian
that makes
school.
sense.
It's like, basically in every country, there's like a school that also puts on annual performances and they're coveted.
Mm-hmm.
Ballet is so competitive. There's a famous ballet institute in New York. There's one in the UK. There's one in Russia. There's one in France. I don't think there's one in Canada. There might be a little something in Toronto, but I don't think it's as prestigious as the other places.
But we have the Edmonton Ballet here.
That's right. And it's not nearly as cool as other ballet places. Ballet's tough, man. It's a grind.
Yeah, it is. It seems weird. If Black Swan has taught me anything, it's like a real grind.
It's really, really tough. Hyper competitive. You could I think there's actually a documentary series on it, but it's kind of like any sport Netflix makes a documentary on, and it's just really intense, dark, and it kind of absorbs your life,
Yeah. Well, you have to change your body to match a standard, you have to be
you can't really eat. You have to be in great physical shape. Basically, the opposite of what you and I do.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Yes, we are not dancers, but are we human?
Oh, that's a great Killers reference. Nice.
Thank you.
But real quick, both films have extremely fit cast members.
For sure. Because
YK Kim, that's a tight chassis on that guy.
Yeah. Well, everybody, even the awkward tall guy,
the bass player.
Yeah,
his
ripped.
Fucking shoulders and biceps and tris were so shredded.
Yeah.
When he's playing that bass and just rocking out to the song Friends.
Yeah, best friends.
Through thick and thin. It was great. Really, really cool. So anyways, yeah. And also ballet and Taekwondo are very similar in that they're extremely physical, take years to master, and require a lot of discipline. And you can get super hurt doing both.
That's right. Yeah.
And they both have formal educational institutes that are that cover the globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ballet is a lifetime journey, and so is Taekwondo. Or any martial art.
Yeah, you got to be swift on your feet in both of them. So being a ninja.
And both people, in both disciplines, they're really good at spinning on one foot.
That's right, yeah. Good.
And you see that in both films.
Yes, good.
There's a lot of honestly, these are the same fucking movies. I'm going to say it right now. Minute 20, same goddamn movie.
Nice. So Powell and Pressburger were really trying to get Moira to cast in the film. So they just kept annoying her. And then eventually Nanette de Valois, who I mentioned earlier, she was just friggin' take the damn role. She was exasperated. She was the mentor of Moira Shearer. So she's just just do it. Who cares? So Moira was fine, I'll do it. And then it was a pleasant experience filming the movie. So
that's good.
Yeah. And ultimately, I mean, we're talking about her. Otherwise, people would probably have forgotten about her if she wasn't in this movie.
Oh, so yeah, totally.
Take that, Moira.
She's a straight gangster in it, too. She's really good.
Yeah. The movie was filmed by Jack Cardiff, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
who famously filmed Black Narcissus and probably other things.
The African Queen.
The African Queen, that's right. The shooting of the ballet of the red shoes sequence, 17 minutes long, right in the middle of the movie. I didn't know it was coming when I saw this first time. It was a surprise. I was like, oh, they're just showing a full ballet thing. Sweet.
Me too. Well, I remember seeing like in a video essay lots of footage of dancing like about the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, there must be some dancing, but I was blindsided by this, like basically the intermission of the film, which is this mesmerizing dream sequence.
Yeah. That took 6 weeks to film, that sequence. And Moira Shearer says that they worked it out so meticulously. They only really ever were dancing for like a minute or two at a time. Like usually live ballet people are like, we just dance for the whole thing. We just do the whole thing from front to end. This is like, we just dance for like a minute, and then we change camera angles, then we dance for like a couple of minutes, you know? So very awkward and weird probably for a lot of the ballet dancers, but they got used to it, sounds like.
Yeah.
This movie went on to become one of the highest earning British films of all time, with a record-breaking gross of over $5 million.
In 1948.
$1948, yeah. So,
which it would be like a lot.
Yeah, so it was a surprise hit at the time, but also they were making movies like this back then, whereas a movie like this would not probably be a surprise hit now, unless it had like, I don't know, superheroes in it or some
sick jab.
Speaking of jabs at superhero movies, the film was kind of restored in the 90s, courtesy of Martin Scorsese,
whose lifelong editor, Thelma Schoonmaker, married Powell.
That's right. I was going to just say that. So you stole that from me. You stole from me.
Oh, I ate your poo at the dog park. Sorry, buddy. Trying to mark your territory, and I just gobbled it up.
No, damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah, so they started restoring this movie. Actually, no, they were restoring it in the 2000s, even though it was released on Criterion DVD in 1999. So I'd be interested to see what the laser disc and the DVD of this movie are like, because they restored it, and it sounds like the restoration process was very meticulous. There was a lot of like crud on the original master of the film, so it was a real process, and they pretty much had to just be like, yeah, we're just doing a full digital restoration of this. But now it's like restored, I guess, as long as the computer doesn't burn down.
Well, I guess you could burn it off of like the countless Blu-rays that are out there that are extremely, it's good quality.
Yeah.
Tip top 1080p, baby.
And
16-bit.
Criterion is putting out 4K Blu-rays for the first time this year.
Oh,
the first one being Citizen Kane, which maybe we should do an episode on.
Oh, we should.
Talk about the new 4K version of the movie, but then also the Red Shoes is one of the first Criterion 4K Blu-rays that are coming out. So I feel like a real piece of shit for buying the 1080 one, because I could be getting 4 times the visual information, or 2 times or whatever. 2.5, whatever the hell it is.
The math, I forget the math, but it's not 4 times, but it is more. But also it's just pixels. It's not the color rendition. No. Resolution's bullshit, man. That's a whole other conversation, but 4K is mostly a marketing ploy.
Well, yeah, a lot of these, I mean, we talk about this every once in a while in the podcast, but yeah, it sounds like a lot of movies are also upscales. So you're buying a 4K upscale of a 2K image, which is a 2K scan of a 4K image. So it's like this weird kind of back
it's
and
a bunch
forth
of crap,
garbage.
Dude. And the issue is you won't see the fucking difference.
Yeah, although I did watch a 4K version of a 4K Blu-ray the other day with HDR built in, which is also a bit of like a trick scam. But if you like calibrate your TV right, which I'm not sure that I have, the colors and the blacks and the whites kind of pop in a much more pleasing way. Yeah, you can just kind of see detail in a really nice way. And I think if the movie is, you're getting a 4K scan and they're putting it on a 4K Blu-ray or whatever, I do think that it makes some sort of visual difference, but probably not a huge one. Again, like I watched this on a 1080p Blu-ray, upscaled to 4K for a 4K TV. Looked amazing. I assume that's what the 4K. I assume that's what the 4K Blu-ray looks like.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Either way, it looks freaking great, and resolution's bullshit.
Yeah, I do know that the Lord of the Rings box set that they just released this last year in 4K, they recolored it and added HDR and stuff. So it is like there are some visual improvements on it. So I think when you buy these new things, sometimes they make changes to the actual color and visuals, even if the resolution isn't like really going to make that much of a difference.
Well, no, it's more about the like dynamic range of the image and the color.
Yeah.
Than it is the resolution. Like it'd be more important to be like, oh, we regraded this movie, watch it. Resolution aside. But that's not a sexy ad. Just saying 4K is like, that's a lot of Ks.
But I did read that the Lord of the Rings thing is like, it's a significant improvement in that you can see a lot of the visual elements that you couldn't see back in the DVD days. They recolored it so it all kind of is more visually consistent, because the first movie was colored on like using classic film color timing techniques, and then the other two were colored with digital. So they just kind of colored them all digitally for this Blu-ray set for the Lord of the Rings. So I do think there's something to be said for some of those re-releases of films, but also, I don't know, a movie's a movie. You're just watching somebody doing stuff, you know?
You're just watching somebody shit lots.
Exactly, yeah. So I think there's having the 1080 version, like having the HD Blu-ray version of the Red Shoes, probably not that much of a different experience than watching the 4K one that comes out in November.
And either way, it's friggin' beautiful. Like, I watched it last night. It still looks good. That Blu-ray looks great, Mike. Thanks for lending it to me also.
No problem.
Mike's a real buddy.
I'm best friends forever. We're gonna never not be friends. Whatever. I don't know what the lyrics are.
Can we play it on this episode?
Oh yeah, I'll play the song. Yeah. Okay.
Here's why that song is so fucked up.
Okay.
The movie tonally is about drug dealers and organized crime. It's very dark.
Yes.
And then these guys who are supposed to be real macho badasses literally sang an entire 3.5-minute song about friendship.
Friends through eternity, loyalty, honesty will stay together through thick or thin. Friends forever will be together. We're up top 'cause we play to win. You got a friend in me. When times get tough, you'll see.
Yeah, and there's 5 of us, and they're all roommates in a big house.
Yeah, and they share one convertible car.
And
they wear the same clothes.
And they cram food in each other's mouths, sometimes, like playfully, and they are worried about each other's like a single problem that they have in life. Like,
and they're also
the one guy
all orphans.
They're all orphans, right?
Oh, God.
I forgot about the fact that they're all orphans.
Yeah. They kind of like brush over that pretty early, and they don't really bring it up till the end when that guy's dad comes back.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And then that guy's dad is the worst actor in the movie.
Yes. And also he makes like a late third act appearance too.
Yeah.
He's like,
it's
hey,
crazy.
Hey, you're my son. And he's like, Dad? Yeah.
Well, remember, he has a monologue at the beginning of the movie where he talks about how his dad died and his mom died, and then his dad comes back at the end, and it's like a real twist.
Yeah. And he gets that letter from his dad at one point.
Yeah.
Near the end. And you watch him open the entire envelope, and like they don't edit any of that stuff out, so you're just like really just watching this guy struggle trying to get this envelope open. And then there's the dramatic beat.
Some of the coverage, I mean, we'll get back to the Red Shoes, but some of the coverage is so jarring.
Yeah.
Just really clunky. I didn't do research on the cinematographer, but rough. Okay, anyways. Continue.
Well, anyway, that's pretty much it. I guess there's a similarity right there in that the ballet people are kind of like a clownish gang of artists that stick together and have a playful, like best friends kind of attitude about each other all the time. Similar to the band in the movie, the band / ninja group. So there's that. And then also the ballet dancers aren't orphans, but they're kind of taken away from their like family and home life to be institutionalized, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how I guess orphan ninjas are in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But good for them for, being orphans, learning to play instruments, starting a band, and also learning Taekwondo, and then fighting rival gangs. Like, they did a lot. They self-actualized. What?
In a way, both films feature a bunch of orphans because there's not a single parent in the Red Shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that's not true. I guess there's... Oh, no, but she's not a parent. She's an aunt. The ballet dancer's aunt is there, but not her parents.
Right.
Makes you wonder. But then there's like surrogate father figures because of Vermintov or whatever that dude's name is, and YK Kim's character in Miami Connection. He's like the father figure. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it's this weird relationship in the Red Shoes where she's being pushed, or she's being pulled by Lermontov, like the ballet operator director guy, and her boyfriend, who's also like the composer of the ballet, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a romantic thing on both sides. It's like, he's like, I want you to be like my ballet dancer person. And he's not like a weird perv or anything. Lermontov, he just is very, very obsessed with making sure his ballet thing goes the way he wants it to.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just kind of interesting, I guess.
I thought, there was like a hint of perversion, but that probably says more about me than it does the movie.
I also think his mustache kind of suggests like he's kind of a perv.
Well, he's got huge bags under his eyes that like the makeup didn't get rid of. They like leaned into the bags under his eyes. And I was like, this guy got baggy eyes. He's a pervert. And anytime a character's like has zero like romantic arc in the film, I'm like, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
Probably pervert.
So in both movies,
and he's a foot guy.
Yeah, he's a foot guy. Yeah.
Yeah, because he loves shoes. He's a shoe guy.
Well, you would know.
What?
Nothing. So, in both movies, characters are kind of being pulled between two things that they love. As in the Red Shoes, it's love, literal love. They love love.
Literal titular love.
The titular.
Just kidding. There's no love in any title.
Love and ballet, and then in Miami Connection, they're kind of pulled between being in a band and being ninjas.
Yeah, like fighting crime.
Because they feel like they have to fight crime when really they'd love to rock out.
Did you like how Miami Connection ended with that quote? Without the end of violence, we'll never reach global peace.
I know, yeah, that's insane kind of quote to put at the end of a movie where people are just indiscriminately murdered constantly.
Yeah. By Uzis and like katanas and like weird red four-sided spiked long cylinders.
Just
insanity.
I guess you could say that quote kind of could refer to both films, because you could say that's a theme of the Red Shoes, because nobody gets killed spoiler alert, someone does get killed, but nobody is murdered and violence isn't really a thing in that movie. Mm-hmm. So you could say that quote applies to both films.
That's true.
So there you go.
And there's emotional violence, which I would say is exhibited very astutely in the Red Shoes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell us about Miami Connection, please.
Miami Connection is fascinating. There wasn't a ton about it on Wikipedia, but there's some cool shit for sure. So it's a 1988, completely independently financed film.
Okay.
It was co-produced by Richard Park, who is some sort of filmmaker. Don't know much about him. And YK Kim, who is, in real life, a Orlando-based Taekwondo teacher and has a school there. And basically, he was on a talk show in 1986, I want to say, in Korea, promoting a book he had written about Taekwondo.
Right.
And Richard Park saw this and then met up with him. And basically, he saw the interview or whatever and the book promotion. He's like, that guy should make a fucking movie. And I guess something about how he was talking on the talk show made him think he could be a movie star. Like, Richard Park was like, that guy is made for the movies, which I think is hilarious because it's objectively untrue.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they meet up, and Richard Park persuades YK Kim to self-finance his own action movie. And originally, it was going to be about two brothers who like fight crime, and it was going to be called Taekwondo. But that was later scrapped. And in '87, they started filming the film. And basically, YK Kim, it's fucked. He had to borrow money from friends, take out several loans, and mortgage his school.
Right.
To pay for the film, and it ended up costing about $1 million, so it bankrupted him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was rough.
Did he make that money back?
No, never.
There you go.
Yeah, so they made the film. Basically, it was made in several installments, which I think makes sense because there isn't like a wonderful continuity. The continuity could be worse. But they like made one version of the movie. He tried to sell it to over 100 distributors, and they all said no. And then he went back and reshot the movie and made several changes. And he wanted to, I'm paraphrasing, but basically there's a quote where he's like, I wanted to focus on the like magic of Taekwondo and none of this computer generated stuff, which is fascinating because not much was being computer generated in 1988.
No.
I think maybe Tron was out and he's like, this is bullshit. Y'all should be seeing the real deal. Me roundhousing people.
Yeah, I mean, he did some pretty sweet kicks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you can tell like he is the best martial artist in the movie. He's fucking great.
Sure.
Like he's got moves. But you can also tell that he's the furthest removed from the subject matter of the film. Like when he plays guitar, you can tell that the rest of them could like stay in rhythm with the playback, but he just didn't know how to play guitar.
Yeah,
so
you
his
could really
hands
tell.
wouldn't be on the strings sometimes. Like that one song where there's callback with the audience and they all kind of like point, and they're called Dragon Fighters or some shit.
Dragon
like the name of the song. What?
It's called Dragon Sound. Oh no, that song is called Against the Dragon or whatever.
Yeah, some like it's like a martial arts action song. But there's like callback with the audience, and like all of the players except for YK Kim are like in time with it, and you can see him just like strumming at a different rate than the song is playing. Just really great. I love it. He just obviously didn't give a shit or was too distracted because he was directing the movie as well.
So it's like similar to the Red Shoes in that he is a person who has one skill set who is being forced into acting. And then also there's a character in both films who is like a composer, like a musical composer, or Julian in the Red Shoes he is writing the musical or the music for the ballet. And all of the characters in Dragon Sound are actually musical composers, and they seem to be pretty good, I guess. Like the songs were catchy.
They're super catchy.
They're not lyricists. They're not great lyricists for sure.
No, but the melody is pleasant.
Yeah.
And it felt like a children's TV theme song, which I thought was really funny and bizarre. So there's lots of musical numbers and dancing, which is also just sort of another similarity between these two films. And there's also staged performances in both films.
Yeah, well, they also show like a full performance in both movies. Like you see the whole song.
Yeah, and dare I say, they're both a little too long.
Yeah, well, also in the center of Miami Connection, there's like a full like Taekwondo training montage.
Yes.
Like, and it's not 17 minutes, but it feels like way longer than it needs to be. I think it's just them showing off their tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. And showing off YK Kim kicking ass, basically.
Yeah.
Because he's got the moves and he's like the one who trains them, even though they're all really good at Taekwondo. Interestingly, YK Kim got his black belt when he was 13 years old in Korea. He was one of the youngest to ever like receive that. And then he moved to Argentina, taught there, and then moved to New York, and then eventually landed in Florida, where he still resides to this day.
The Paris of the United States.
Okay. Is that true? Is that what people say?
Yeah, that's what people say.
So both films take place in a Paris. Also, the song Friends is featured in Far Cry 3.
Really?
The video game. Yeah. How cool is that?
Why is that? Do you know why?
No, I have no idea. It just is featured. So I have no fucking clue.
Okay.
But that's kind of nifty, I think.
Maybe I'll play the game.
You should. I mean, yeah, Far Cry is a famous franchise, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I played Far Cry 5 during the pandemic.
Ah.
It's fun.
Cool. Anyways, yeah, so he mortgaged his house, all this stuff was like financially spread pretty thin. The production was a nightmare, apparently, and he had no fucking clue what he was doing. And I think that shows. His cinematographer was also the film's editor, which is interesting, an Argentinian guy named Maximo Munzi.
Right.
So he shot it and he edited it. It was one of his first films. Oh yeah, so basically upon its initial release, it played in 8 theaters for 3 weeks and it bombed. The reviews were absolutely horrific. They eviscerated him. And the film did really poorly. He thought it was going to be a major blockbuster, and it wasn't. Doesn't
everybody, though?
Yeah, I guess. But you know what's funny? Like, I don't know much about YK Kim, but I'm rooting for him. Like, I don't root for Breen, but I root for Kim, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, Neil Breen, you can tell when you're watching his movie that he has some sort of ego.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas YK Kim, you can tell when you're watching this movie that he's just like a nice guy who's pure of heart, who just wants to make a fun movie. And like the themes of brotherhood and family, or found family, I guess, in Miami Connection are just kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And like the best friend song, you can make fun of the lyrics for how stupid it is, but it's funny that he just like wanted to show that these guys are buds. So much that they'd write a song about it.
So wholesome.
It's very wholesome. Yeah. Also, this movie, I was expecting it to be, because I didn't know anything about it going in, except that it was like a movie we should cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting it to be kind of along the lines of like the Andy Sedaris movie that we watched.
More salacious.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Yeah, I was expecting it to be just like violence and nudity and stuff. But
it was
just about it was a very wholesome film with a lot of violence.
And it's about world peace.
It's about world peace, believe it or not, even though it's just people killing each other.
So YK Kim's a huge proponent of like nonviolence in his life, and he started like some sort of Taekwondo federation. And his school, I read a quote, like his Taekwondo school is like now a chain in the United States, and it's the McDonald's of martial arts institutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but he started this federation, and there's like a list of rules and philosophies, and he tried to like implement a universal list of rules that sort of has to do with like world peace and no violence.
Interesting.
And like the film's kind of peppered with like philosophical side conversations, like that one guy who owns the store, and he talks about how Taekwondo is not just punching and kicking, but it's also here and here. I just pointed at my head and my heart.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Like he definitely was trying to say something, and he just didn't do it well.
Yes.
And you can't fault a guy for doing that, because this movie is trying to say something, which is kind of cool. Like most films don't. Most films of this caliber don't try to say anything. They're just very exploitative. But this one isn't. There's also no like crazy nudity, which I found weird.
Yeah, the woman character is just kind of relegated to just being a love interest.
Yes.
But she keeps her clothes on the entire time, and she's in the band.
Yeah, she dances and she sings that one song, the fighting song, which is sick.
They keep her around, and she just only has like a positive effect on the movie, you know, even though she is literally just like that lanky guy's girlfriend.
It's kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing, because her brother, it's because who she loves that all the conflict arises.
Yeah. That's similar to the Red Shoes, you could say.
That's true. That's true. Oh, yeah. I guess all the conflict resides or is like centered around romantic interest.
Yeah.
Or love. The L word is dropped in both movies quite a bit. So anyways, so the film died upon its release, and it was eviscerated by reviewers. But then in 2009 or 10, I can't remember, a copy of the film was found on eBay. And after a bid of $50, a guy named Zach Carlton, who's a programmer at a Draft House movie theater in Texas, bought the film and screened it. Loved it, did like a mini screening, and then he went to the creative director of Draft House Films, which is a reissue like retro film company.
Yes, that's right.
And the film, they saw it, they watched it, they were like, this is exactly what people want. And the year is like about 2012, and I feel like that's when reviving trash from the 60s, 70s, and 80s really started to come to fruition, because by this point the internet is like very much established.
Yeah.
And anyway, so then so YK Kim was like basically for 25 years was made fun of by people. So he basically totally cut ties to any sort of media.
Mm-hmm.
And people trying to reach out about the film, he just ignored. And so he rejected the first like 50 calls that they made when they were like, hey, we want to reissue your film, blah, blah, blah. He thought it was a joke, or he thought they were making fun of him. But then he eventually like met with them. He agreed to the reissue. And then upon its like subsequent re-release, it became hugely popular. And a lot of people sort of, and now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 68. It gets a lot of like 3.5 star reviews because people understand what it is instead of what it wanted to be. And I think that's a huge difference that time plays when a film is re-released. Right?
Yeah.
Initial release, there are impossible standards set. But as a film ages, that's when you can start to enjoy them. Many people say this film is worse than The Room.
Interesting.
And I don't think it is.
No.
Because it's more genuine than The Room. There's a lot of narcissism in The Room. I think this film is so genuine that you can't fault it the same way that you can other films.
Yeah,
like a Breen film or a Tommy Wiseau film or whatever.
Yeah, even Samurai Cop is like, you can kind of tell that the director, I don't know, it just kind of feels like he's kind of a bit of a dick, maybe. Maybe I'm just making that up. I don't know.
No, you can like feel it in the DNA of the film and like how it's watched, you know?
Yeah. But this movie kind of came out around the same time as a lot of those so bad they're good movies. Like the mid to whatever 2000s, the early 2000s was like a time for that. Like The Room really came out. I mean, The Room originally was released in 2003, but then it kind of found its heyday 10 years later almost. Around the same time as Neil Breen's Fateful Findings, as we discussed last episode, this movie kind of had its heyday around then. And Samurai Cop also, mid-2000s, like around 2006.
That's right.
So a lot of the kind of classics of the so bad they're good genre. It was the best time to be a fan of bad movies, I guess.
I'm not going to deny that.
But also you were saying that they were trying to get a hold of YK Kim and he kept turning them down. Very similar to how the Red Shoes worked, where they were just trying to get Moira to be in the film. She kept turning them down, and then eventually she relented. And to her benefit, and I would say the same is true for YK Kim, because, Draft House is good.
Mm-hmm. I guess both films have aged extremely well, also.
Yeah.
Like, they both hold up in a way that maybe nobody expected.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And they're both Criterion films. That's
correct, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I don't have much else to say about the film.
That's fine.
I have one more. So YK Kim, he's like a famous martial artist, huge proponent of martial arts and Taekwondo. He publishes a martial arts magazine called Martial Arts World Magazine. It's a quarterly magazine, and it has to do with all things martial arts. So he's very much still steeped in that community, and that's kind of what he spent his life dedicated to.
Wow, that's good. See,
he only ever made one movie.
Yeah, this is actually kind of the rare example, I think, of the pure of heart person making a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems like a so bad it's good movie. Usually, you can tell there's something going on with you can really like get a sense of the person when you watch these movies. Neil Breen being an exceptional example, you just get an incredible sense of who that guy is just based on it. The bizarre films he makes.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's cool to see that YK Kim is no different, but then seems like a genuinely nice guy.
He seems great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. And he was just giving it in this movie.
Oh yeah, he gave it his all.
He acted the hell out of this film, even though his acting was bad a lot of the time. He was just like you could tell how committed he was to it, and it was cool.
He went fucking hard, I think, in every respect.
Yeah.
Kind of not dissimilar to the whole narrative of the Red Shoes, the actual story, or no. It's like the scene where she's dancing during rehearsal and the guy's like, you're dancing too hard. Like, this isn't sustainable. I'd say a similarity is both of those, like the actors went super hard.
Yeah.
In their respective field, physically, they just went super hard.
Nice.
And it's really impressive. It's like I'm friggin' impressed.
It gets the Bob stamp of approval.
Oh yeah, big time.
He'll sniff that butt.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, well, let's get into the next segment or corner of the podcast. I don't know, similarity corner. Basically, that's the whole reason we're gathered here.
The similarity doghouse. Huh? There's a couple doghouses in the backyard. We're walking out of one, going into another one. This doghouse is the similarity doghouse.
Picking up the bone that's in that house, giving it a couple of like chomps with your teeth.
Yeah.
Gnawing on it for long stretches of time.
Because it's great for your gum health.
Yeah. God damn it. Okay.
Oh, fuck me.
So both films have long stretches of the film with no dialogue because they're either punching and kicking or chasing people around to kick them. In Miami Connection, or driving, frolicking on the beach, checking out ladies. And then in the Red Shoes, they're dancing a lot of the time. So, and then especially for the 17 minutes, like they literally, nobody says anything for 17 minutes because they're dancing for so freaking long.
That's right.
So, yeah, really, when the Miami Connection started, there's like, they don't say anything for maybe the first 5-10 minutes of the movie because there's this big action scene. And I was like, oh, this movie's going to be like, not a lot of dialogue in this. That's going to be kind of cool because the movie, even though it's bad, will probably convey a lot of information visually, which is always like good in a movie when it does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I guess people started talking once they needed to relay exposition. And sometimes the exposition was just like this character's backstory and then it went nowhere. Like the character's being like, oh, this is my problem. These are all of the things that I'm going to school. I got to do all this. And then she disappears for the rest of the film.
I love that they're all college students, but clearly way too fucking old.
Yeah, they all seem like they're in their 30s for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Actually, there's a similarity there because the casting of Julian in the movie, he was much older than Moira.
Oh, really?
And people were like, seems weird, but
how much older?
I think 10 years older.
Really?
Yeah, he was in his 30s and she was in her 20s.
Oh, interesting.
Marius Goring is his name, but everybody was just so impressed with his acting and just how generous he was as an actor that they were like, this guy's the guy. He also has a kind face.
Kind face and a neato hairline.
Yeah.
I just look for those things in a film. Good hairline, great acting. It's what's important to me.
Also, your hair looks good today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Conan O'Brien little floof going on.
Yeah, it's unintentional. This is how I woke up in the morning. I turned on the Zoom and I was like, I don't look half bad. I haven't even brushed my teeth today. I'm just full slob. I drank a pot of coffee and ate 4 pieces of pizza.
I woke up this way.
Just full dirtbag.
Yeah.
Your hair also looks good, but you're always looking pretty good. You're very clean cut.
Oh, well, thank you. This is, we're kind of like YK Kim in our own way. We're just kind of like looking out for each other, you know? A couple of buds.
That's true. Well, we're friends and through thick and thin, you know, it's great.
It's true.
Okay. Both films have,
that was compliment corner.
Oh, compliment doghouse.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
It's a bunch of
compliment
doghouses. Backyard is just full of doghouses. It's an eyesore for the neighbors. Let me tell you, they're pissed.
And it reeks of dog shit.
Yeah. There's shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Because the owners are neglectful. Our owners are neglectful. So both films have like a big band of people who stick together. So like the ballet company, huge group of people. They're not related. They just like have this shared interest in dance and performance, and they all have their own jobs. And all of the gangsters in Miami Connection have huge groups around them.
Yeah, right.
That like serve them.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge similarity there. I just feel like the basic dynamic between characters is kind of identical in both films.
I agree. Yeah. They feel like a very lived-in group of longtime compatriots who have a shared interest.
And there's like training scenes where there's just like everyone's at the ballet bar doing shit.
Yeah.
And then everyone's in the gym working out and working on martial arts.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like some of the coverage and how they like break down what the groups do in both films is extremely similar too.
Right. And they eat together, open mail together.
Yeah.
You didn't mention, but I feel like this is a thing. Both films have director duos.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Both movies were directed by duos, which doesn't really happen that often.
No, especially, it's a rarity. I mean, you have the Coens, Powell and Pressburger, Kim and Park. Who else? No one. I guess the Wachowskis.
Yeah, the Wachowskis, yeah.
It's kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of nice when buds make things together.
I think so. It's more fun, more collaborative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Both films take place in cities near the ocean.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, well,
that's all I got.
Moving on.
Yeah. Oh, I guess both films take place with great weather.
Yeah, the weather's great throughout both films, yeah.
Yeah. There is one scene when it's raining, and they have the top down with
on the car,
the convertible, and that was clearly they were just like, oh, fuck it, let's shoot this motherfucker anyways, even though it's like pissing rain.
Yeah.
And he
doesn't put it up. He doesn't put it up.
No, he just parks it and then gets abducted. But for the most part, the weather's really sunny and beautiful, and they're near the ocean.
Both films got them bright colors because the Technicolor in The Red Shoes, and then in Miami Connection, it's like the neon tinted, synth rock of the 80s kind of vibes in this movie.
Well, even the opening like drug scene is lit in a very similar fashion to how The Red Shoes is lit in many scenes. That bright blue light washing over everyone, it felt very Technicolor.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of 80s aesthetic that people in the 80s just totally ran with. And now people are just trying to recapture that magic. Ironically or non-ironically, but mostly probably ironically.
Yeah.
Both movies have jealous men in them.
Go on.
The two men in The Red Shoes are both jealous of each other because they're trying to, hold on to Moira, or Victoria Page is the actual character's name. And then at the beginning of Miami Connection, when you're introduced to the one female character, she talks about how her brother is jealous when she's got a boyfriend.
That's right.
Which is kind of a wild thing to be jealous about, because you're not going to get with her, dude.
There's a lot to read into there. That's for sure. Let me tell you. Me oh my.
Hi, Chihuahua.
Yeah. Oh, both films feature extremely tight clothing. How's that? And tight clothing that you can move really well in.
And uniforms.
That's right.
Because ballet people wear those uniforms. They're ballet uniforms. And same with ninjas.
And both films feature drugs. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
So there's literal drugs in Miami Connection.
Yeah.
Cocaine is stolen and sold in the film.
Sure.
And there's a performance Mike and I know very well, or a drug Mike and I know very well called performance. Okay.
Nice.
She's addicted to it. She's addicted to performing. So that's
right.
her drug in The Red Shoes. So there's drugs in both films.
There's kind of like a white anomaly. And what I mean by that is in ballet, someone will be like the kind of lead dancer. The best kind of example of that is the person who plays the White Swan. When you do like the White Swan, that performance. But and I guess Moira's character Victoria is like that character who's like the lead person. She's like the big deal. She's the White Swan of the piece, even though they're not doing the White Swan. But in Miami Connection, all the ninjas wear black except for the leader. He wears white.
That's right.
He's kind of like the White Swan.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So strange.
It's just so we know he's the leader.
I guess it's tough to know who's who because all their faces are concealed too.
Exactly.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. Yeah. And he gets his head cut off.
Yeah. I guess
just like in the red shoes where someone gets their head cut off. Moira kind of gets her head cut off when she gets run over by a train.
And then,
Spoiler alert.
She's alive long enough to be like, take off the red shoes. And then he does, and she's like, ah, and then dies.
If she got hit by a train or run over by a train, she'd be like split in half. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess both films have unbelievable violence.
Yeah.
In that it's just poorly depicted. Like the blood in Miami Connection never makes sense. Like it's just poorly done. And the blood is poorly done when she gets hit by a train. She is in good shape considering.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she just kind of has like specks of like red paint on her face.
What's up with that?
Even though she would have just been like destroyed by a train.
She would just look like a meatbag.
Yeah.
If you got hit by a fucking train.
Yeah. Well, she fell onto the train tracks, right?
Yes, she did.
Like from a high...
From a balcony.
From a balcony,
where they realized they loved each other.
Yeah, and so a character in both movies is like booted off of a balcony at some point. Or like a high area.
That's right. That's right.
Just in the Miami Connection, it's just, you know, general ninja chaos where people will be kicking each other off of things, off of high places, and they fall. Also, characters running away from each other because when they're battling in the Miami Connection, the ninjas just straight up like turn around and run away sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like backflip or do cool ninja stuff. They just turn around and just like, gotta get out of here.
It's way more reasonable to run than to exert that energy required to backflip out of a situation.
Oh, no. If you were in that situation, you would run. You wouldn't just be like, hiya, and then just do like a cool backflip.
Absolutely not. I would turn around and run as fast as I can. You can run faster than you can backflip.
No, but you can backflip to a higher spot and they can't get you.
Backflip up?
Sure, that's what backflipping's all about. You're a ninja.
Crazy,
it's a movie.
Man.
It's a fictional film.
You're crazy.
Okay. Both movies are about dreams. She has a dream of being the greatest ballet dancer at the, academy or whatever the heck it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And the ninjas dream of being rock stars and vice versa. And by that, I mean the synopsis of the film details as much. Yeah, it says, the synopsis for Miami Connection is, greetings from the most dangerous jungle in the world, the streets of Miami. In a world where ninjas dream of being rock stars and rock stars dream of being ninjas, a martial arts rock band goes up against a band of motorcycle ninjas who have tightened their grip on Florida's narcotics trade. So they dream of being in a band, or they dream of being ninjas, depending on which group you're in.
Yeah.
So, it's just about following your dreams.
Follow your heart. Okay, well let's wrap this puppy up. I think we're almost done at the dog park here, Mike.
It feels like this. We're almost done at the dog park for sure. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say this feels like it's over.
No, I wanted to keep people on their toes, not unlike a ballerina, or a ninja. Yeah. So, what did we learn from these movies, Bob?
Don't self-finance a movie.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
What did you learn?
I learned that the end of violence will be the only thing that brings us to world peace.
Beautiful.
In both the world of martial arts and ballet.
Mm-hmm. And rock music.
So, as a former ballet dancer.
Oh boy.
How was the Red Shoes?
Oh, great. They do some really hard stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super technical, honestly. It's good that they hire dancers and not actors, because it's ballet's tough, man. It's really hard.
Okay.
Even the simple stuff, is so difficult. It's such a technical thing. I love ballet. Honestly, it's really cool. Once you get, into the minutia of it, the takes years, man. Like a lot of beautiful art forms, it takes years. Just writing songs, single word title songs like Friends.
I am a formal martial artist in that I took karate up until orange belt.
Yeah. How old were you?
Basically did 3 or 4 months of karate.
Yeah.
I was 11, I think, maybe younger, maybe 9.
Do you have any photos? I'd love to see them.
I probably do somewhere. I think I actually still have my karate gi somewhere.
Oh my God.
I definitely still have the belts.
You know what? Let's put that in our gift shop.
Sure, yeah, we'll put it in the
fans
gift
can
shop.
buy it for $1,000.
People can
You'll
buy,
sign it.
Yeah, I'll sign my old orange belt. I only got up to orange belt because it was, quote, too hard, and I'm quoting myself. I just found it was too difficult doing karate.
Yeah.
Because I had a very strict sensei, and they always made me spar with adult men.
That sucks.
I know, and I was a 9-year-old or something like that. So
Yeah, that's not fun.
yeah, but whatever.
I'm also a quitter. I was in beavers for a month, and then I quit.
Well, yeah, they also probably, you would have got kicked out eventually because you are clearly a human and not a beaver. So you're just over there gnawing on a tree, and they're just like, the hell is this guy doing
Who the
here?
fuck is this guy? Who does he think he's fooling? Just wearing like a burlap sack painted darker brown around me and like with a fake tail stitched to it.
Yeah, it's just a couple of like waffles that you kind of like put tied to your ass with rope. Just nude with waffles on your ass. But there was a great awakening that happened during that period of your life.
Oh no. Oh no. Fuck you.
Hey, you're the one who brings
That's
up
when he
Sonic.
realized you love to dress up as an animal to make love.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you're the one who brings up Sonic the Hedgehog in like a quasi-sexual context every week.
No. I
Okay.
never do. Screw you, Mike.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, that's so funny. Maybe for this episode, just as a special, limited edition thing, our fans are called beavers just for one episode.
Also, maybe let's do a From Justin to Kane special art contest.
Ooh.
If one of our listeners hears this, decides to partake, sends us a drawing, so draw Bob as a beaver,
Oh, fuck.
send it to us, and we'll give you some sort of prize that we'll figure out.
It'll be Mike's orange belt.
That's right. I'll send
Maybe.
you my orange belt. Yeah, I'll send it to you if you want it.
Yeah. Are you not too sentimental, Mike, about your orange belt?
Oh, no. I don't even know where it is, but I'm sure I still have it. Yeah, email us at FromJustin2Kane, all words, no numbers in there, at gmail.com with your drawing of Bob as a beaver.
Oh,
And
fuck.
I just, the thing is, I don't think anybody will do it. So it's an easy prize if you actually do it.
Yeah, I think even if one person did it,
Yeah.
you'll win something.
Yeah, exactly.
Most
So-
likely an orange belt.
And it's got to be like a good drawing. It's not just going to be like, don't just like, do a quick sketch on the pen app on your phone or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It has to take like at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Put
So-
some work into it.
Just really get that nice detail on the waffles on
Oh.
Bob's nude body.
Childhood body.
No,
oh my God.
Oh, you're a child in this.
I was a child in this scenario, yeah. But you know what? For the sake of this exercise, I'm an adult, just so it's
that's
not
right.
as weird.
Yeah, we're not soliciting child porn of you.
I'm a grown ass man in this scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
A grown ass nude man dressed like a beaver.
Yeah. Well, you're nude in that you're wearing a burlap sack over your nude body. So you're nude
Yes.
under the sack. There's a sack.
Under the sack is all sack. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. And then some untoasted Eggo waffles tied to my butt.
Yeah.
Just like the
And-
donkey in Winnie the Pooh with the tail that you have to nail on or whatever. Just like that.
Yeah, you're right. Eeyore.
Eeyore. Yeah.
Great. Well, okay, that was a good ending. If ever we're gonna find, we can't find a better ending than just talking about you dressed as a beaver, pretending to be a beaver.
Oh, God. FYI, just for the record, beavers is like the step before Boy Scout.
Yes. Yeah, that actually
Just-
might not be clear to our non-Canadian.
Yeah, I think
listeners.
not everyone knows that. Like the Canadian system, you start out as a beaver. In the American system, I think you're just a fucking scout from the get-go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I was a beaver, and then I quit because I'm a quitter. I just wanted to go home and watch TCM.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I did, and look at me now. I have a film podcast, and I'm a grown-ass man dressed like a beaver in a burlap sack.
You never took it off, folks.
Yeah. I've been wearing it under my normal clothes for my whole life.
And yeah, and your life is that meme where the guy standing in the corner, and it's like they don't know that I'm actually a beaver.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Where everybody's partying, and then there's the guy standing in the corner with a drink, and it's like they don't know that I'm actually a beaver. That's what you think in your brain.
Yes.
Every single day when you wear your beaver, you're out at No Frills.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Shout out to my local No Frills, Brian
Yeah.
and Allison's No Frills.
they're selling it.
Oh, fuck me, really?
I just saw that today on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I guess they're getting out of the grocery game.
They're getting out of the grocery game because the pandemic was too hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how that could possibly be true, though, because grocery stores, if anything, probably did better.
And they were booming. Like, they're doing really well at that No Frills. Damn, should I buy the No Frills? That seems like a good business move.
I think they sold it, but check it out.
They already sold it. Damn, Brian and Allison, what the fuck?
Go on Twitter and look, though. They posted a note about it.
Okay, well, you know what? They're living their life. Good for them.
Some hyper-regional news.
Extremely regional. That honestly gives a scary, like, proximity to where I could potentially live.
Yeah, you'll never guess.
They'll probably guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's wrap this puppy up. Thanks for visiting us at the dog park. Hope you had a good time. Hope you got to sniff enough butts.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just really trying to go for this dog theme. I don't know. Is it working, Mike?
Oh, yeah. I think it does work, yeah. I mean, you're not going for the dog thing. It's been pretty much constant since we decided that our fans are called Kanines, so.
You just have to discredit me, don't you?
No, I'm saying that you are that it's been a long-standing like bit. You're just going hard with it.
Whatever, Mike.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Go sniff an ass. That's what we say to each other.
Go sniff an ass, and we mean it endearingly.
Yeah, because sniffing an ass is like saying hi. You're smelling like the weird dog gland that they have in their ass that is basically like their greeting gland where they say hello.
Yeah, you mean shit?
No, there's like a special gland in dogs' butts.
How do you know this? You're a cat guy. You shouldn't know this stuff.
Because I was like, how come dogs smell each other's butts? I looked it up.
Oh, wow. Dicey internet search history, Mike.
Just Googling dog ass gland. Let's see. Yeah, so it says... that's why you have to squeeze the dog's glands sometimes, too. Because when they scoot on the carpet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's anal glands on the dog, which are called anal sacs.
Oh, boy.
And they are located on either side of your dog's anus. They're full of a specialized sweat gland that produces an unpleasant smelling secretion that acts as a scent marker for your dog.
And so other dogs, why would they want to smell it if it's unpleasant? Or is it unpleasant to human and pleasant to other dogs?
Yeah, because dogs, sniffing is their whole thing, right?
Yeah, they sniff everything. Yeah, because like dogs don't lick each other, really, but they smell each other like nobody's business.
Yeah. They have a special part of their noses called the Jacobson's organ that lets them ignore the smell of poop when they sniff another dog's rear. But it's basically like them shaking each other's hands.
What the fuck? I wish I had a gland that could ignore the smell of poo.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
make hanging out with you so much easier. Oh, bird.
Oh, damn it. When a dog sniffs another dog's butt, they can learn about another dog's identity, gender, health, mood, diet, whether they've met before, and more. This is all from Google.
What the fuck? I wish humans could do that.
You wanted them to smell each other's butts?
No, I wish there was a way that we could do that without doing that. But like when you meet somebody, you like creep them on their social media to be like, is this person a pervert? Are they a weirdo? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, you got to really do a lot of homework to find someone's like mood and diet, you know?
That's cool. Well, you learn something every day. Thanks for that little lesson there, Mike. That was sweet.
No problem. And that's a great way to end the episode, just talking about dogs.
Anal glands.
Anal glands, yeah.
Anal sacs. Sorry.
This episode has been brought to you by anal sacs.
All right, let's this feels over.
This feels over. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening. Listen to us next week. Why not?
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
Or download old episodes. We've got so many, and they all age well. And we've established enough kind of like canon lore in the podcast that it's kind of satisfying to go back and listen, because a lot of the inside jokes we reference, you'll get now.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right.
This episode has been brought to you by our previous episodes. I want to thank our sponsors, us in the past.
Yep.
Okay, thanks everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye.